there, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Hillary, and if you are a returning subscriber, then you must be a crazy hilly, and welcome back. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know you can feel free to give me a like or subscribe or even leave a comment down below on what we're about to talk about. It actually helps the channel out so much, and I am very appreciative to every one of you that does. Also, I have merch down below. If you want to go check that out, I will leave a link in the description. If you want a mask, pants, a hoodie, you can check out the link. Tonight we are going to be covering the Dybbuk Box. What is a Dybbuk Box, you may ask? It's a box with a Dybbuk in it. A Dybbuk is supposed to be a malicious spirit that is a human spirit that was removed from their body. It's believed to possess people, and actually, if you are possessed by a Dybbuk, it can hop from person to person. So say you're getting exorcised by some sort of priest, the spirit can jump from body to body, and they are usually contained in a tiny wooden box or wine cellar. I've seen a whole bunch of different ones. You can even go on eBay and check them out. I do not recommend buying them because that's kind of like half the problem with this box. People buy them, open them, and then you got yourself a Dybbuk. Now tonight we're not just going to talk about any old Dybbuk box. We're going to talk about the Dybbuk Box, the most famous box that had movies made after it, a bunch of stuff, and it was purchased by a guy named Kevin Mannis. According to Kevin, he bought the box at an estate sale in 2001. It had belonged to a survivor of the Holocaust who lived in Poland, and her name was Havele. I am not sure if I pronounced that right because I don't pronounce things right, but I'm pretty sure her name was Havele. It's Havaleh. Havele. During the Holocaust, she had escaped from Poland to Spain and actually purchased the box there before immigrating to the United States. During the estate sale, Havele's granddaughter actually told Kevin that her grandma had purchased it in Spain after the Holocaust, and upon him finding out that it was a family heirloom, he offered, like, no, it's fine, you guys can keep it, but the granddaughter was actually very insistent on him taking it. She didn't mind, you know, it was always kind of kept off to the side. Her grandma didn't really want to talk about it, so she was just like, no, it's fine, really, just take the box. She told him that her grandma had kept it in her sewing room and said that a Dybbuk lived inside of it. So, like, that would be your first warning to maybe be like, oh, what's a Dybbuk? I don't really think I would be interested in buying something that was straight up like, yeah, my grandma kept it in the sewing room, and yeah, it's evil. It's pure evil. Now, obviously, Kevin wasn't a superstitious type because he bought the box, and upon purchasing it, he took it back. He actually owned an antique store or some type of furniture store, so he took the box back there, and he proceeded to open it, which is like the worst thing that you can do. Don't open the box. But he did, so. When he opened it, he said he found 2 pennies from the 1920s, a lock of blonde hair that was bound with cord, a lock of brown hair that was bound with cord, a small statue with the Hebrew word shalom on it, a small golden-like wine goblet, a rosebud, and a candle holder with 4 octopus-shaped legs. Now, numerous owners actually own this box after Kevin because he had tried to get rid of it, but while he owned it, he said that he would have these very vivid nightmares of this old woman that haunted him. It was said that he also had an employee who worked at the furniture place that he was in, and he wasn't at the furniture place at this time, but she went down the basement where the box was and thought that somebody was down there, and she went down there and all of a sudden heard cracking and breaking and things being moved, and she freaked out and she tried to get out of the basement, and as she ran up to the door shut and she was locked in there, and she thought that somebody was down there with her. So she calls Kevin and she's like, yo, there is someone here, like, ruining the place. You need to come and, like, come here right now. And he's on his way and he's freaking out, so he drives there as quick as he can. And when he gets there, he goes to the basement, and she's actually in the basement, and she doesn't understand what's happened because everything is in disarray, and she's the only one down there when she was absolutely sure that there must have been some sort of person or robber or someone down here. And obviously Kevin at first didn't believe all this stuff about the Dybbuk box, and he was like, yo, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you break everything downstairs? And she was not happy with him. She was just like, bye. After all that, Kevin actually gifted the box to his mother as a birthday present, and upon opening it, she suffered a very bad stroke and she just fell to the floor. Obviously the ambulance came and stuff, and she said that she felt like it was the box that had done it to her. And while she's on the floor having a stroke, she's like, with her eyes trying to signal to her son that she thinks that the box was doing it. And I'm sure they had a conversation. I don't think she died, but still suffered, you know, a lot of trauma that a stroke would bring. So after all this, Kevin was like, I can't really deal with it, and he put it up for eBay and sold it to another person. And every subsequent person after that has purchased this has said that the box has emanated smells like cat urine and jasmine, which for me is like a really weird combination. Like, what are you? Are you flowers or are you pee? They also all would have these weird nightmares of this old woman that, and it wasn't just one person, it was like everybody after that owned it, and also people that stayed in their house that would have these nightmares of this old woman that was just like terrifying AF running around the house. Now, one of the next guys that own it, I think his name is Iosif. Again, I'm really bad with pronouncing names. I'm sorry if I messed it up, but he owned the box sometime after Kevin. And he would say that the box caused lights to burn out of his house. Like perfectly good bulbs would just break or shatter or just burn out, and he started to like lose his hair. His hair just started falling out. So after all this, he had been writing a blog. I think he was one of the people that purposely bought this box off of Kevin on eBay, because Kevin was very straightforward with writing like, yo, this is haunted and I don't want it. So he bought it off of him to see if it really was, and he was writing a blog about it. But after the box got too much for him, he decided to put it up for sale. And then somebody else that was reading the blog actually decided to purchase the box. Now, the next guy that owned its name was Jason, and he purchased it off of the previous guy because he had been reading his blog and knew about it, and again, wanted to see if this was all real. So as soon as Jason bought this box, of the Dybbuk box, he started having weird things happen to him as well, and a lot of health issues, which included like coughing up to blood, welts, and hives. And he was also having that reoccurring dream of the old woman in his house. I feel like out of all of them, you know, from the beginning, like, I'm really on board with Kevin's story because he just got it, you know, he didn't know what a Dybbuk was, but he kind of wrote, you know, in his eBay thing that this thing was haunted. So I don't know if that maybe put a seed into everyone else's kind of brain, you know, like, oh, it's going to be haunted, so now I'm expecting to see things, or if all of this was legit. I feel like, you know, you have to experience it, but it's not something that I ever want to experience because it sounds crazy. So after all of Jason's health issues, he finally decided this was enough, and he went to seek help from a rabbi. And the rabbi supposedly helped them reseal the box, and then he took it to a secret location. He did not keep it in his house. He moved it to a location elsewhere because he didn't want to keep that thing in his house after he's like coughing up blood and everything, right? And kept it there until he decided to actually donate it to Zach Bagans. And if you don't know who Zach Bagans is, which I've talked about him before, he is the lead investigator of Ghost Adventures. He has his own haunted museum, and, you know, I could understand giving it to Zach because, like, maybe you know what to do with it, or just, like, keep it. Let it make you cough blood up, not me. And there's actually a clip. I'm gonna put it in here somewhere if I can find it. If not, maybe I'll leave the, like, something down below for you guys to find it. But Zach actually did an investigation strictly on the Dybbuk box, and, you know, my guy Post Malone went and investigated it with him, and it said basically Zach touched the box and was it kind of looked like he was a little hypnotized by it, and Post was like, yo, and tried to, I guess, break the spell, or like he touched Zach. And what they thought happened was, because Zach was touching the box and Post Malone was touching Zach, that he suffered the curse himself, because a bunch of crazy things started happening after that. Post Malone said I think his house got broken into, his plane almost crashed. I think he almost got into a car crash. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that happened after this investigation. Like, he had these really, really, really bad luck. So I'm going to include that clip right here if I can, and watch for yourself. So it's up to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think that this box is haunted and, like, don't open it? I'm gonna put my seal on this as probably haunted, and I'm not really willing to go check. I'm not gonna go open a Dybbuk box to find out if there is in fact a Dybbuk in it. I'm gonna take your word for it. I don't want my house smelling like cat pee. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to give me a like or subscribe or leave a comment down below. Again, it helps the channel out so much, and I'm already so thankful for everyone that already watches this, because, like, I work really hard. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.